Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual. I'm Utsaf Parekh and here are the top stories of the day. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to continue fighting in Gaza until quote-unquote absolute victory. His comments come after the Israeli Defense Forces suffered their worst one-day combat loss yesterday. Netanyahu mourned the loss of 24 of his soldiers. He said, and I quote, "Yesterday was one of the hardest days since the war broke out." Meanwhile, the Lebanon-based militant group Hezbollah claimed to have struck an Israeli base. They have released a video. It purportedly shows attacks on a significant Israeli airbase on Mount Meron for the second time this month. This comes as the fight between the IDF and Hezbollah intensifies at Israel's border with Lebanon. The two sides have been exchanging fire ever since the Israel-Hamas war broke out. The United States carried out strikes in Iraq against Kataib Hezbollah targets. The Pentagon said it struck 3 facilities linked to the Iran-backed militia. This is in retaliation for an attack on an Iraqi airbase over the weekend that wounded U.S. forces. Iran-backed militants have been attacking U.S. troops in Iraq and Syria since the Israel-Hamas war broke out. Pro-Palestinian protesters disrupted U.S. President Joe Biden's speech yesterday. The demonstrations unfolded just a minute into Biden's speech on abortion rights. The protesters called for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. However, in contrast, a separate group chanted, quote-unquote, 4 more years in support of Biden. Former U.S. President Donald Trump cruised to victory in New Hampshire's Republican primary yesterday. With this, he marches closer to a rematch with Biden in November. However, Trump's Republican rival Nikki Haley voted to continue her fight despite the loss. Yesterday, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin made his first public appearance since his secret hospitalization. Austin attended a virtual meeting on Ukraine's military needs. Earlier this month, Austin was secretly hospitalized due to complications arising from a prostate cancer treatment. However, his hospitalization was not made public until 4 days after it happened. 18 people were killed and 130 injured in Russian missile attacks on Ukrainian cities yesterday. 8 people were killed in the eastern city of Kharkiv, according to regional officers. At least 9 people, including children, were also injured. This was after Russia fired 3 missiles towards the city within 24 hours. Turkey has approved Sweden's bid to join the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO. The legislators ratified Sweden's accession protocol after 4 days of rigorous debate. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is expected to sign the bill into law in the coming days. Sweden had applied for NATO membership in 2022 following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Polish President Andrzej Duda has pardoned 2 members of the former government. He has called for their immediate release from prison. Earlier this month, Poland's former interior minister and his deputy were jailed. They were sentenced for abuse of power during their previous roles. Poland has been embroiled in political turmoil since a pro-European coalition came to power in last October's elections. Senior British Conservative lawmaker Simon Clarke has called for Prime Minister Rishi Sunak to step down. Clarke said that under Sunak's leadership, the party will be quote-unquote massacred in the upcoming elections. Some Conservative lawmakers have turned against Sunak. This is ever since he passed a controversial Rwanda immigration bill, ignoring their calls to toughen it. North Korea has fired several cruise missiles from its west coast into the sea. This is according to South Korea. Seoul said that their military detected several cruise missiles launched by North Korea towards the Yellow Sea. This comes amid heightened tension in the Korean Peninsula. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un routinely threatens the US and its allies in the region with a nuclear conflict. Meanwhile, North Korea has reportedly demolished a major monument in its capital. The monument symbolized the goal of reconciliation with South Korea. Last week, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un called South Korea a primary foe. He added that unification with Seoul was no longer possible. At least 3 people have been killed and 5 others injured in the recent earthquake in China. A 7.1 magnitude earthquake rocked China's Xinjiang region yesterday. More than 12,000 residents have reportedly been relocated from the quake-affected areas. Staying with China, the death toll from a landslide in China's Yunnan province has risen. 31 people have been reported dead as rescue workers continue operations in freezing temperatures. At least 24 people are still missing. Over 1,000 rescuers have been deployed, along with excavators and rescue dogs. India's northern region remains in an icy grip, with the capital New Delhi and its surrounding areas experiencing light rain today. The Indian Meteorological Department forecasts that the cold wave will persist till the 27th of January. The Weather Department has also issued warnings for dense to very dense fog. The UK has been experiencing frequent stormy weather, with the latest being storms Isha and storm Jocelyn. This weather situation has been attributed to climate change. According to the US Met Office Weather Service, the frequent and severe storms are linked to global warming. Experts predict wetter and milder UK winters in the future. Heavy snowfall has disrupted life in Russia's Sakhalin region in the Far East. The area received a month's worth of precipitation in a few hours. This extreme weather has caused disruptions to transportation across the region. The local weather department predicts snowfall and blizzards to continue for the next 2 days. The capital city of the West African nation of Sierra Leone, Freetown, is facing a threat from deforestation. The worst affected area is a national park that provides clean water to Freetown. The deforestation is taking place due to activities like land grabbing, charcoal burning, quarrying, and marijuana cultivation. The UN recommends that authorities monitor the area to prevent landslides, water shortages, and floods. Brazil's semi-arid regions are witnessing an accelerated desertification process at farmlands. Scientists link the droughts to global warming, with affected areas expected to triple in the coming years. In Brazil's northeastern region, the green landscapes have turned yellow. The drought will affect farmers and the vulnerable population the most. Relief agencies in Colombia's capital, Bogota, are working tirelessly to control forest fires. The fire has spread in the area's eastern hills and the El Tuparo National Natural Park. Efforts are underway to contain the fire in protected areas across thousands of kilometers. On to business and tech news. US carrier United Airlines is considering alternatives to buying newer Boeing MAX planes. United CEO Scott Kirby said that the company is seeking to build a fleet that will not include Boeing's 737 MAX 10 jets. This is due to Boeing's delivery delays. Kirby also pointed to the recent mishap with a Boeing aircraft where a door panel blew out mid-air. He said that the incident had upset the company. Meanwhile, Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun will meet with U.S. senators this week. He will answer questions about the 737 MAX 9 groundings. Earlier this month, the U.S. aviation regulator grounded 171 MAX 9 airplanes after the mid-air blowout incident. It ordered an inspection of all MAX 9 models. Flight attendants at Southwest Airlines have voted to approve a strike against the carrier. Over 98% of the members voted in favor of the strike. This marks the first time in the airline union's history that the flight attendants authorized a strike against the company. Southwest flight attendants have been demanding higher pay and a better work-life balance. Swiss banking giant UBS has unveiled its biggest rebranding campaign since 2016. The lender will identify with a new slogan that says, "Banking is our craft." Without revealing the cost, the firm said the campaign will drive growth. It'll include online and printed advertisements, sponsorships, and events. The rebranding comes after the firm's hasty takeover of Credit Suisse last year. Bank of America will reportedly cut 20 positions in its Asia business. The majority of the bankers affected are Hong Kong-based, who are working on deals in China. This comes as plunging markets in China and Hong Kong weighed on deal prospects. The report adds that some cuts were also made in other Asian markets. The Los Angeles Times has said that it is laying off at least 115 people. This accounts for more than 20% of the newsroom. It marks one of the largest workforce reductions in the history of the 142-year-old paper. The move comes amid projections for another year of heavy losses for the firm. E-commerce giant eBay is cutting about 1,000 jobs from its workforce. An estimated 9% of the company's employees will be affected by the layoffs. eBay CEO said that the move comes as the company's expenses are outpacing its growth. He added that the firm will also scale back the number of contracts in coming months. German software developer SAP has unveiled a $2.2 billion restructuring program for 2024. This will affect 8,000 roles in the company. The program will be implemented through voluntary leave programs and internal reskilling measures. SAP added that it expects generative artificial intelligence to fundamentally change its business. It has pledged to invest more than $1 billion in AI-powered tech startups. Embattled Chinese property developer Country Garden is selling properties in China's Guangzhou city. It's aiming to raise more than $500 million through the sale. The properties include a hotel resort, 4 office towers, a shopping mall, as well as 5 rental apartments. Country Garden is among a long list of developers that was hit due to China's property sector crisis. Apple has asked a London tribunal to dismiss a $1 billion mass lawsuit against the firm. The lawsuit was brought by app developers. It is against fees charged on Apple's App Store. The suit accuses the company of charging unfair commissions of up to 30% on App Store purchases. However, the iPhone maker claimed that over 85% of developers do not pay any commission. Apple has therefore asked the tribunal to throw out the case. Moving to sports, let's start with cricket. Batter Rajat Patidar has been added to the Indian squad for the first 2 test matches against England. Patidar was called up after Virat Kohli withdrew from the first 2 matches due to personal reasons. The first test match will be played in the Indian city of Hyderabad and it begins tomorrow. England's uncapped spinner Shoaib Bashir has been ruled out of the first test match against India. This is because Bashir was forced to return to the UK from the UAE due to visa issues. The spinner is now completing the necessary formalities to get a fresh visa. Meanwhile, England captain Ben Stokes has expressed his frustration over the incident. Stokes said, and I quote, "I don't want this type of situation to be Bashir's first experience of being in the England test team." In football, let's start with AFCON, or the Africa Cup of Nations. Cameroon beat Gambia in a 3-2 nail-biter last night. The game was scoreless in the first half. Both teams then scored 2 goals each in the second. Christopher Wu scored the winner in the 91st minute to seal the win for Cameroon. They have now reached the final 16 and will face Nigeria on the 28th of this month. Minnows Mauritania stunned Algeria in last night's AFCON match. Mohamed Yali scored the only goal of the match in the 37th minute. Mauritania have now advanced to the round of 16 and face Cape Verde on the 29th of January. In the AFC Asian Cup, Syria knocked India out of the tournament with a win last night. The only goal of the match came in the 76th minute as Omar Kiribin scored for Syria. India were knocked out after losing all their 3 group stage matches. Syria have qualified for the round of 16, where they face Iran on the 31st of January. Chelsea thrashed Middlesbrough 6-1 in the EFL Cup's second leg semi-final last night. The Blues won 6-2 on aggregate after having lost the first semi-final leg 1-0. With the win, Chelsea are now through to the EFL Cup final. There, they will face either Liverpool or Fulham in the last round. Moving to tennis, world number 1 Novak Djokovic entered the Australian Open semi-final. Serbia's Djokovic beat America's Taylor Fritz in a hotly contested match. The Serbian won the first round 7-6. Then Fritz came back to win 6-4. Once the world number 1 found his rhythm, though, he outclassed his opponent 6-2, 6-3. Djokovic next faces world number 4 Jannik Sinner of Italy on Friday. World number 2 Aryna Sabalenka stormed into the Australian Open semi-final. The Belarusian Sabalenka dominated her Czech opponent 6-2, 6-3 in straight sets. The match lasted 1 hour and 10 minutes. Sabalenka next faces American Coco Gauff tomorrow. In the men's doubles, the duo of India's Rohan Bopanna and Australia's Matthew Ebden have entered the Australian Open semi-final. Bopanna and Ebden beat Argentina's Maximo Gonzalez and Andres Molteni 6-4, 7-6 in straight sets. With the win, Bopanna has attained the world number 1 rank in men's doubles. The 43-year-old has become the oldest player to reach this ranking. Bopanna has also become the oldest tennis player to reach a semi-final at the Australian Open. In basketball, Cleveland Cavaliers forward Tristan Thompson has been handed a 25-game suspension by the NBA. This comes after Thompson tested positive for the growth hormone ibutamoren. The drug is used by bodybuilders for muscle mass and enhancements, but it is banned by the NBA under its anti-doping policies. Thompson's suspension begins with immediate effect as the Cleveland Cavaliers visit the Milwaukee Bucks. The nominations for the biggest awards of Hollywood were announced on Monday. Just like with other awards, Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer dominated the Oscars this year with 13 nominations. Poor Things joined the race with 11 nominations in several categories, while Killers of the Flower Moon received 10. Cillian Murphy, Paul Giamatti and Bradley Cooper are in the race for Best Actor, while Lily Gladstone, Emma Stone and Annette Bening are among those competing for Best Actress. Actor Ryan Gosling has been nominated in the Best Supporting Actor category, and he says that he's extremely honored. But the Barbie actor expressed disappointment about Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie not getting the recognition that they should have. He stated that there is no Ken without Barbie and there is no Barbie without Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie received a nomination for Best Producer for Barbie, while Greta Gerwig got a nod for Best Adapted Screenplay. The 2024 Oscars will take place on March 10th in Los Angeles. According to reports, Anne Hathaway walked out of a Vanity Fair magazine shoot. This happened after she got to know that over 400 Condé Nast union members were on a 24-hour strike. The members are striking after the company announced that it is planning to lay off 5% of its workers. The Condé Nast Group includes magazines like Vanity Fair, Vogue, GQ and Architectural Digest. 50 Shades of Grey actor Jamie Dornan was hospitalized in Portugal after he came into contact with toxic caterpillars. Podcaster Gordon Smart revealed that they were playing golf when the two started feeling unwell. Thinking that they might be having a heart attack, they were immediately rushed to a hospital. Actor Mark Ruffalo reveals fighting with a brain tumor in 2001. It happened during the time when his wife was 9 months pregnant. Ruffalo told his wife about the tumor after she gave birth, and then he underwent a surgery. The tumor removal surgery left the actor with temporary partial facial paralysis and permanent deafness in the left ear. Actor Sofia Vergara has revealed the reason behind her divorce with Joe Manganiello. She stated that her marriage broke up because she didn't want to have children. Vergara, who shares a 10-year age gap with her former husband, stated that she did not want to be an old mother and that it was her time to become a grandmother. Sofia Vergara and Joe Manganiello announced their separation in July 2023. Actor Tom Hollander once received Tom Holland's bonus payslip from the Avengers films. The accounting mix-up happened because of the similarity in their names. Hollander revealed that this happened when they were being managed by the same agency. Tom Hollander said he had not seen so much money in his life, which was just a bonus for Tom Holland. Streaming giant Netflix announced that the highly anticipated Squid Game Season 2 will premiere later this year. Squid Game is a Korean-language survival drama series. Along with this, Emily in Paris Season 4, The Diplomat Season 2 and Bridgerton Season 3 are also in the release pipeline. Netflix has signed a 10-year, $5 billion deal with World Wrestling Entertainment, or WWE. With this, the OTT platform gains the exclusive rights to stream WWE Raw from January 2025. WWE Raw is a professional wrestling television program. Rapper Kanye West has given a sneak peek of his upcoming album Vultures on social media. The clips feature scary visuals of smiling clowns, explosions and wolves. West revealed that Vultures will be released in 3 parts, with the first coming on the 9th of February. That's all for this episode of Fast and Factual. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.